Big milestone. Hit the big old 500 subscriber count.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's been a little more than 2 years. Hit 500 subscribers.
And the funny thing is, from about 10 months ago, we almost had the same conversation.
That's right, but it was 500 videos that time. This time it's 500 subscribers. In 10 months, 350 plus subscribers have come in.
Actually, 250?
Cause I'm right now like just under 550.
Oh, yeah, true.
But this video is supposed to separate the 500 mark.
Yeah.
I was at like 180 when we did the 500 video. Now we're at 549.
Literally. Wow. Just. Wow. What are you doing for it?
Listen, what do you mean, what am I doing for it?
What are you going to even do for it? What are you doing for this?
What am I doing?
Achievement.
Oh, for this achievement, I was a little confused by your question, and dumb Discord lag cut you out. I asked, oof indeed, but I did ask the fans and followers at the time, which was roughly a month or two ago at this point, to send me some questions for a Q&A session. Not just like anything they would normally ask in a stream, but stuff they really wanted to ask me to get all deep and philosophical and whatnot. And oh boy, did I get a lot of deep and philosophical stuff to answer in this batch.
Oh my god, it was 30!
30 questions I received. I will receive answers to each and every one of them. Some of them were a lot harder to answer than others. I'm going to save the more challenging ones for towards the end.
Totally.
Oh, yes.
That makes sense.
And it's thanks to people like you, and especially you to help me get this far. But most importantly, you.
If change.
Saying, for the most recent of events, the three I just walked up to were the most significant and impacting. Well, right then, I might as well just sit down and get through all these questions you guys have sent me. First question comes from Doodles. Do I get impatient? If so, how quickly? Well, everybody has a limit of their patience, but for me in particular, I have a pretty strong test and limit to my patience. I can keep my patience for a very long time, but it can get weary if things get persistent or continuous for an extended period of time. Like, give me 3-4 days of an ordeal that's kind of ridiculous, or ask the same thing non-stop, like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? For like 20 minutes non-stop. Some stuff like that can make me lose my nerves. I don't personally get too impatient on things, but I'm a very patient guy. Next question comes from Logan. What is my favorite color? Mine is blue. Well, that's pretty cool that your favorite color is blue, first of all, Logan. But for me, it depends on what it means. Like, is it something to wear? Or is it something in general? Or even your ink color in Splatoon? I might as well answer all three of these either way. My favorite color to wear is black. My favorite ink color is a pretty dark purple, like Team Donatello. And my favorite color in general is a kinda darkish red. Kinda like how Raphael's was supposed to be, not pink. The next batch of questions comes from IDB. If I could be the embodiment of any element in the world, I'm assuming like the Avatar elements, not like any periodic table element, what would I be? This is an interesting question. I never thought I would get something like this. If I could be an element pretty much from the Avatar series, I could choose myself to be either wind or fire. It doesn't go with that I am pretty pushy or calm like the wind or hasty like fire, but I consider myself to know how to handle with both kind of fairly and equally. But I would pick wind more so than fire if I was given the option between the two. Totally doesn't mean anything about the Avatar series and whether the wielder of the element is more of a favorite or not, just going by how I would use them if I was the option to. And also from IDB, which is better, the B movie or Shrek, any or all of them. Both sets of movies were on the lackluster side, and me neither, as a matter of fact. But if I were to say anything in particular, Shreks 1 and 2 were parts of my childhood, and they're the better films of the series. At least the first two were. The B movie, there, in my opinion, was pretty mimi. it was not that decent of a movie, but it had a lot of memes going with it, similar to the Lorax in 2012. Oh, please, don't even get me started on Shrek the Third or Shrek Forever After. And don't even get me started on that potential Shrek 5 coming out in a year or two. Question next comes from a friend, S-Clay. What are my precise thoughts on Rank X? I got this question before Rank X was officially added into the game, shortly after it was recently announced. But as of this video, I've done only one session of Rank X, being in one of my more recent Splatoon streams, aside from the necessarily Splatfest. So I'll just give my initial thoughts on what I was thinking Rank X was going to be, and then what I think it is now. When Rank X was first announced into the game, I was thinking it would be a fair way of distributing the very skilled players from the people that got carried to S+. Which, I saw that in the time I did my Rank X time. Cue some of the montages from when I did Rank X. They were very cool. It would be... I also saw it as a way of solo league battles, but in a more of a minor raging mode. I don't plan on playing this mode too much to like get an initial league power in a month if I feel like it. But it will put my test skills to the test if I want to fight some top players around the world, because heck, I even fought Japanese players when I did the Rank X rotation on my stream. Thank you for this very, very deep and intriguing question. It was very deep and philosophical. My next batch of questions come from Kyle, aka Bob in the Discord. If I were to make a new game for the Nintendo Switch, and what game would I want to make a return onto the Switch as a Nintendo property? I'll treat this as two different questions. For part one, the new game. And if I were to compose a new game for the Nintendo Switch, I would like to see the game take advantage of multiple controller settings like the Joy-Cons and the Joy-Con grip, and even the Pro Controller, as well as child controls within handheld for franchises such as Mario, Kirby, or even Zelda. Take advantage of these concepts and gimmicks. Not to say that Mario, Zelda, and Kirby are the most selling franchises in the world, like Splatoon are, but that would get people very excited and intrigued in what these new gimmicks would have to offer. I was hoping to see stuff like that with Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild, but I'm still happy with what they got. For a returning game to return to the Switch, one game I definitely want to see make a comeback in the future be The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. It was a really, really fun game when I played this initially on the Wii. And I could see players using individual Joy-Cons as controllers, like, for example, the Skyward Strike. Lift up the right Joy-Con into the sky to light up your sword as it charges into the sky and boom, launch your Skyward Strike from there. This would be similar to how the Wii Remote concept worked. Doesn't that sound cool or what? What parts of me show the most emotionally? The human mind is composed of many, many emotions. And I'm not referring to the 5 emotions from Disney Pixar's Inside Out being joy, anger, sadness, fear, and disgust. We have a many, many variety of emotions such as jealousy, lust, pride, love, scared, sleepy. There's a bunch of others that I can't even think of right now, but the ones that express me the most would be kindness and honesty, similar to joy in Inside Out. I am very, very kind to other people, at the same time keeping my guard up in case something does happen and I need to defend myself. And I'm also a man of my word in almost many things. I don't make a promise I can't keep, and I remain true to my word almost all the time. So most people can see me as a kind and honest person. Just stay off my bad side and then we'll get along just fine. It really takes a lot to get thrown onto my bad side. Last one from Kyle. What is my favorite TV show? I was asked this question in the last Q&A by Zan, and the shows have changed since then. Well, regular show was come to a close a few months before the last Q&A, but at this point it's been roughly a little more than a year since the show ended, and not many people talk about it anymore. But another season as The Walking Dead has passed, and while I admit it has been one of their slower years, I still enjoy the show as a whole. It has made several risky moves, such as the death of Coral Grimes and the prolonging of the All Out War storyline, but it's up a nice focus for the upcoming Season 9, which is intended to start sometime in this coming fall. And I'm very, very excited to see the story arc adapted from the new beginning, as well as the introduction of the next big villain, the Whisperers. Next question comes from Joshua13. Do I like cake? I am a huge fan of cake. It just mostly depends on the flavor of the cake. I would have gone Team Cake, if not for the fact that it was fighting Team Ice Cream. I just love ice cream way more than cake. Between you and me, I like chocolate and red velvet cake. Or chocolate and red velvet ice cream cake, and I'll be content. Next batch of questions come from Renzo. First one, what is my favorite Pokemon? I believe I was asked this in my first Q&A from somebody. I don't remember his real name at this point. That was 2 years ago, almost. But this was long before Pokemon Sun and Moon were even a thing, and I even time to experience Twitch and 7 Pokemon. But my answer is remained the same for the most part. Favorite Pokemon still has to be Charizard. I share similar traits to normal Charizard, being loyal and loving towards my friends and partners. There are several honorable mentions such as Decidueye, Alola, Raichu, Milotic, Rayquaza, and Mew. With over 800 Pokemon out, it's just hard to decide and lean towards one favorite in particular. What are my favorite types of donuts? An interestingly different question than I was expecting out of this entire batch. But my favorite types have to be creamy glazed ones filled up with lemon-flavored jelly inside the center, and coated with powdered sugar. There are many flavors of donuts I just like. Those are just two of my favorites. Give me something with like lemon-flavored jelly or creamy glazed, or come up with a combination of both. I'll be surprised with what you can come up with. Similar to Idabe's question, what power could I have if I could have one superpower? We already know the answer to this. They did a Splatfest on this. I would have invisibility. I don't care that I lost that Splatfest. I want to have invisibility powers, not so I can turn invisible, and not to be sneaky or get into trouble, but I'd rather use it to be crafting my techniques like a ninja and surprise the enemy. I will avenge you, Leo. Next question comes from Crimson. Is the Earth flat or round? Personally, for me, it must be donut shaped. Well, scientifically speaking, the Earth is round like a sphere, and I believe that. But it's a lousy answer you gave on the donut shape. I had to laugh at that one. Next two questions come from Goldie, one of my more recent followers on YouTube. Do I main any weapon class in Splatoon? If so, what? For those of you that have known me for a long time on Splatoon, this has to be easy. Splatling is my favorite class out of everything in Splatoon 2. Though long-range shooters come a close second place. And with weapons such as the Splattershot Pro, the Squeezer, and the Jet Squelcher, wait, I said the Jet Squelcher twice. The Splattershot Pro, the Squeezer, and the Jet Squelcher all fit into this category as something with decently long range. Also, which of the four waifus, as we like to call it, is my favorite? Pearl, Marina, Callie, or Marie? I like all four of these hosts in Splatoon history. We don't have enough of a story as of this point on Pearl Marina just yet. I have hopes that the upcoming Octo expansion DLC will give us a backstory to them somewhat. But if I had to pick one of them to stick with the entire time, it would have to be Callie. Callie was the girl I fell in love with at the beginning of Splatoon. Plus, she was also the first character I heard speak in Splatoon. So I had to stick with Callie. And that's why I went on her team in the final Splatfest a couple years ago, despite the fact that Marie wound up being legally superior. I just personally love Callie's personality and the way she says things. Next question comes from Rex. Do I have any intentions to play just Nintendo games on the channel for now? I do not have plans to just stick with Nintendo. I am slowly expanding into other properties, such as Spyro the Dragon and Kingdom Hearts. Heck, I started playing Kingdom Hearts Final Mix 2 weeks ago. So that alone answers your question, Rex. Next question comes from Parkour, and this is a pretty interesting one. What are my favorite weapon, map or maps, clothing pieces, shoe pieces, hats, and battle modes in Splatoon 2? There are several answers to all of these questions, and I must just pop these on the screen as I say what they are, aside from the modes and the maps, of course. And I can only go by what I have so far, so I don't have an idea of what all the version 3.0 gear looks like at this point. I'm sure this will probably be updated by the time I have access to every single piece of gear. My favorite maps? Returning, Piranha Pit, and Port Mackerel. if we're going by just new maps, Starfish Main Stage is my favorite out of all of them. Shifty Station can be at times, it just depends on what the layout is. But if we're going by what we had in the Raph vs. Leo Splatfest, which was also Flight vs. Visibility, I was not a fan of that map design. But referring to ones like the Chicken vs. Egg with the Thunderdome, I love that Shifty Station. I would like to see that one return. Favorite weapon, another obvious, the Heavy Splatling Deco. Favorite mode or modes, Splat Zones and Tower Control. Depends upon the maps. Favorite hats, the Fish Fry Visor, the Studio Headphones, the Takaroka Visor, the Pilot Goggles, Octo Glasses, shirts, the Garden Tee, the Reggae Tee, the Black Tee, the Hero Hoodie Replica, and the Camo Hoodie. For shoes, Tiny and Orange Squid Kid 5, Ursa 4, the Hero Runner Replicas, the Pro Trail Boot, the Trail Boots, Samurai Boots, and the Violet Canary Trainers. That was a mouthful to say for Parkour's question. Now we're getting to the big guns. Asked by Zuki, what was my first video game console? The first video game console I ever owned was the PlayStation 1 back in the days of Spyro. My first Nintendo console was, fun fact, Wii, but I managed to play my brother's GameCube a few times during the days of like Smash Bros. Melee and Luigi's Mansion. Asked by Inky, what is my favorite anime? Well, rather, do I watch it? And if I don't watch it, then watch it. I used to watch anime all the time with my ex-girlfriend back when she and I were dating in my early years of college and in high school. But now I don't watch it as much as I used to, mainly because I don't have anyone to watch it with anymore. But some of my favorites at the time were like One Piece, Spirited Away, and Castle in the Sky. Definitely recommend me some anime to watch in the comments section or in the Discord. I'll definitely take in what you guys suggest so I can look at some anime in my free time in the future. This next question was asked by Jay. Name a favorite weapon and gear combo set, which cannot use Splatlings. Splatlings are not the only thing I use in Splatoon, no. If you listened when I did Goldie's question a little while ago, I sometimes carry weapons such as the Forged Splattershot Pro and the Foil Squeezer, but I still carry my trail boots with Object Shredder and make use of my bubbles, while carrying like my studio headphones with F Ink Saver Main to make my weapon last a little longer on the field. I mean, it's not going to be as powerful as a Splatling, but it helps me keep roughly the same range, so I still feel very comfortable about it. What's my favorite kart combination other than the Beat Dasher and Sponge Wheels? I've not done as much Mario Kart in the last several months compared to before Splatoon came out. But if I were to pick something other than my usual kart combo of Beat Dasher and Sponge, I would use the Bone Rattler and the Metallic Wheels if I were to stray from those guys for a kart combo. You didn't ask about gliders, so I can still stick with my Helium Kite, I think it is. I don't remember. Next question comes from Cora Mora. Love her on her channel and everything. She's one amazing supporter. What is my favorite video game of all time? And why? This was a really tough question, but within the last few weeks we did a GameStruck 4 on Twitter, where we posted 4 video games pictures that made a significant impact in our lives. The 4 personally picked were Croc, Legend of the Gobbos, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, Splatoon 1, and Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. For being the first but not all these games had to be my number one, they just had the biggest impact in my life. If I were to pick a 5th place to go into GameStruck 4, I would definitely pick my number 1 game, Spyro Year of the Dragon, which is getting into the Spyro Reignited trilogy later this year. It is the first game matched to 120%. Yup, the first game I ever played that the max cap quota was not 100%. And it gave me a very tough and challenging time while doing so. Similar to Croc, Spyro 3 has been steady and gotten very difficult pretty quickly in the game. As I got farther into it, it got even harder, and it was a real reward for clearing the game, especially after winning a certain race in the final level of the game, and when you get to attack money bags for all your money back. That felt so satisfying, and I would do that again and again as a kid. This next batch of questions are asked by Squidsicle, one loving and kind brother on the channel, been with me since the very beginning. What characters do I want to see in Smash Bros. 5? Assuming it's Smash Bros. 5 and not 4.5. being a Smash Bros. One of my favorite game series of all time, I want to see some of the best of Nintendo and the third parties to make it into the battle ring. After seeing characters like Sonic the Hedgehog making it, and even Pac-Man and Bayonetta making it Smash, I'm sure the gate's open for just about anybody to make it in. I'll first discuss some of my high hopes for characters in the Nintendo properties to make it in. I want characters such as Decidueye, Dixie Kong, Springman, even though I've never played ARMS, Captain Toad, and Impa as good candidates to make it as newcomers in Smash Bros. 5 that are part of Nintendo. Now, as for third parties, I'd see characters like Rayman, Crash Bandicoot, and Bomberman, since considering Nintendo's relationship with all of these property owners and how things are going with the Switch in the near future and what's to come, I think Smash 5 is going to be a big opportunity to see characters from all across the universe of gaming come into one nice place. If I had the chance to play in the Southeast Asian servers for a day, pretty much where I get bombarded with all the Japanese, would I take it? If I was given the opportunity to play with Japanese players for one day in Splatoon, I would take the offer. As risky and dangerous as it sounds, I know the Japanese are very, very skilled players, and I'm always willing to pump up my skills to the next level. Even if I have to be on par with the most professional players, such as the competitive players I met in the academy or even Japanese players around the world. I would definitely want to make the next step to go above and beyond. Another easy question, but Squidsicle asks us, so it's coming this late. What was the first video game I ever played? This is another easy question. The first game I ever played was Croc, Legend of the Gobbos. I recently finished a Let's Play of this. Feel free to take a look at it and see what the beauty this game holds in my heart to this day. And what a milestone or stepping stone it put for a lot of games in the coming future from that point. Next question comes from Zan, another deep one too. What is my favorite official soundtrack in a video game? Tough question. I have many favorite soundtracks from video games, but I'm about to play a few of my favorites. these 5 games were pretty interesting ones. 5 soundtracks are pretty memorable ones in my gaming history. But the one that comes to my attention the most as my favorite would have to be the one I played at the end, being Fresh Start, which was sung during the credits of Splatoon 2 single-player campaign. To me, it signified the beginning of a new arc in my adventure. And boy, has it been a quite interesting arc in my journey ever since Splatoon 2 came out. Meeting many new people since then, but I'll save that deep and philosophical stuff for the end of the last question, because we'll get there eventually. We will. Thanks for the questions, Anna. It's a pretty tough one to answer, but yours wasn't the toughest. This next question comes from good old Fiery Ruby. If I were to make a design for a new Pokemon, what would it look like and what would its typing be? You always come with the deep and challenging questions, eh? Well, you're not the only one to do it this time. If I could come up with a new design for a Pokemon, I would give it a similar appearance to that of a black widow tarantula-esque spider. These guys are very common in my geographic area, and are pretty deadly to deal with, too. It's pretty ugly I have to deal with spiders of that at night when I walk outside or something. It has a body shape similar to that of a Galvantula, which is shown on the left here. And it would give kind of blackish with orange stripes, which would be also similar to that of Ariados, which is what you can see on the right. This Black Widow spider creature I think would have a typing of Bug and Dark. I think we had to see a type combo like that exist before. And I was gonna say Bug and Poison, but I'm like, Bug and Dark is a more unique combination that I think we're yet to see. And it would be pretty fun to see. I would like to see that come on Gen 8 or something, a Bug and Dark type. Wouldn't that be cool? These next 2 questions come from one of my best friends of all time, the Lost Prince. What made me like Splatoon in the first place? A very deep and interesting question. At the time Splatoon was first announced at E3 2004, I first saw it as another IP trying to make its way into the market, with having little to no success, similar to Pikmin did. Or was it Xenoblade Chronicles? I don't remember. At the time it wasn't as successful. But either way, I didn't think about it that way. But come the test fire, 10 months later, everything on that changed. I was given the opportunity to play the demo, I played it, and I was quickly hooked into the game. As annoying as some of my matches get, I still always come back to Splatoon, eager for more and more. It is one of my favorite video games of all time. It let me meet so many people around the world, forming groups with them, fighting other skilled players around the world. By the time we got Splatoon 2, I quickly jumped in the bandwagon compared to its predecessor, and became all the more thrilling to meet people in the Splatoon universe, and meet more people to expand my skills to become the very best. Meeting people like my teammates, or more Blue Card, and even you. I've met so many people because of Splatoon. I have to thank Nintendo for that. Was there ever a time I also asked me, was there ever a time I wish I could have edited something even more, but I thought it wasn't worth it? Aside from my most recent Spyro 50.5, of course, hahaha. Yeah, if you saw that, I had pretty terrible editing skills on that one. I wish I could have done that better, but I felt happy with the outcome of that ending either way. This one was pretty tough to answer, Prince. There were many things I was not proud of, especially my older videos. I could definitely say that for my Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, Wonderlock, and my Moon walkthrough. Those were over a year ago. I wasn't satisfied with how they turned out, but at the time, I was okay with it. I cannot get away with stuff like that today. This is why I had to go with my explanation in part 1 of the Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke Take 2, so I don't repeat anything like those guys ever again. There were a couple other recent issues where I had commentary problems with Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door that I want to go back and fix up for how I do things today, but those are minor insignificance compared to like the 50.5. Oh goody, last question. Whoops, wrong tab. It comes from the person who helped me on my channel the most, Joryan. What has happened with everything on this YouTube channel and my Discord life to make an impact in life from the beginning of it to today? I was already asked something similar to this in the last Q&A about 10-ish months ago. I started this channel a little more than 2 years ago, now expect to make a big difference. Here we are 26 months later, I'm 500 plus subscribers popular. Now I know that's nothing to a lot of people, and it took a very long time for me to break that goal, but I never imagined I would even get this far this quickly. My fan base, I expanded it into Discord for a way for the fans to communicate with each other and myself outside the streams and videos. As both a YouTuber and a Discord server owner, I take huge pride in all of this. These both have made a big impact on my personal life, helped me become a more mature and caring person while carrying my YouTube profession. Even if it started out as a hobby, it's turning into a small profession for me. I'll eventually start getting paid for my YouTube stuff down the line. I'll get to that a little later. But I never got here by myself. I made it with people such as you, Ruby, Switzicle, Danny, the Prince, Zan, Core, and even Blue Cario, and everyone else I've yet to even mention. People such as you guys were the starting stone, were big milestones and supporters. Whether you came in at the start or at some point along this journey, we're all walking this road together, as you're all supporting me and I'm all supporting you. We're all walking this road in life from the beginning to now. I've become a very maturing person, and I'm ready to make my mark in the world, leaving a smile on people's faces each and every day, however small it may be. That concludes the Q&A questions for all you guys. It was very, very difficult questions. I guess I have to thank every one of you guys for sending me those questions. They were pretty deep and philosophical.
It's been 30 questions since the video started.
Saying, hey, you got the honors of being the last question twice in a row.
Hey, but thank you, though.
Oh, I put the challenging questions towards the end, so yours was pretty deep and tough and challenging. Again.
Hey.
So what does this mean? What's to come for the next 500 subscribers? Probably the same thing that we got going on right now. Just making things probably making things a little more fun. Everyone's walking this road. The channel's gonna get a lot more recognized now that we're at least 500 subscribers.
Yep. 500 to go. Or
saying
450 from now.
For roughly when we did this video, I was at like 550 subscribers. I know I said I would do this at 500, but I needed time to get this going. So we're all on this road, and then things will get even bigger and better. Next big milestones, I'm thinking the 1,000 mark. May do something for 750 or 800, but probably something kind of small for that. Don't know what I'll do just yet for those. Probably not something kind of small for that point. But what's to come next? Pretty much everything I said. And then the last thing, I'm going to start opening a Patreon for this channel so you can kind of support me through there through a monthly donation of $1 or $5 a month. It's voluntary and completely optional. You're more than welcome to do this if you want to. I figured it'd be a more fun way of doing donations. I'll also do the Streamlabs through the streams to make them more immediate and effective compared to Patreon, which is a once-a-month type of deal. But what are the benefits of joining the Subspace Patreon account? Well, for every donation you make, you'll get access to these special videos, like this one for instance, a day before everybody else, a special shout out in my monthly streams throughout the month, as you started seeing throughout the last couple of weeks. The names of all my Patreons will be showing up in there. You'll get an exclusive Discord chat in the Discord server, and priority access in my lobbies, like you can have me join your lobbies instead, if you're a Patreon. That's all I can really say for you guys. I have to thank you once again for the questions. They were very fun and challenging. I will see you guys in the next video I do. I'll see you guys then. Bye.